Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Happy Thursday. How you doing? There's a lot of people in the chat. I see that already. Wow. I think I'm like a minute late, but literally I was giving an interview all the way up until the last minute. So I had to get presto changeo. So that's why I'm late. But I'll share more about that later. Maybe not today. But good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Hey. It's Thursday. Back to my normal time. Although next week, I'm not sure. Because next week I'll be in Italy. So we'll see. Maybe I'll go live from Italy. Let's say hi. Let's say hi. Hey, Word Up Psychotherapy. Greetings to all. How are you? Another channel member. You should be a channel member. Join. We have fun. Anya's in the house. How are you? Trey, good evening. Hey, Meg, how are you? Hey, everybody. Like I said, because I was doing stuff at the last minute, I'm feeling like I might be a little discombobulated, so we'll see. Hey, KF is in the house. How you doing? Deborah, boa noite. Si, boa noite. Yes, today, oh my goodness, it's been a deluge. Like so much rain today that the tree lighting was supposed to be tonight, and I was going to go to the tree lighting and then to Wonderland, which was supposed to open tonight, and then dart back over here for our live. And it got postponed because the rain was raining all day. Vicky G is in the house. Tia, hey, how are you? The ABX girl, how are you? Hiya. Yeah, on my way out of here, Phyllis. See, y'all need to be like Phyllis. Phyllis is telling you. Phyllis has put the intentions out. On my way out of here. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Hey now, Jess A. Hey, lovely people. Hey. How y'all doing? Let's see. Oh my goodness. All these other people just jumped in here. Maureen's in the house. Boa noite from St. Martin. Yeah. Aw, yay. Yes, stay abroad. Because, we're going to get into it. And Maureen, too, is a channel member. Hello. Hey, Yakota's in the house. Hey, Yakota. Oh, see, we got people that came from the move to Portugal summer. We got everybody in here. Yes, Donna. Hey, Greta is in the house. Oh my goodness, Diane. Y'all are just showing up and showing out. Raquel, flying free. Flying free is the way to be. Jean is in the house. Hey, Jean. How are you? Miss Zany. Oh, currently in Austin. Hey, and our friends, our Black Utopia. Hey there, who's going to Italy? I am. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I am so ready. I'm putting this residency to the test that now I can travel to like all of the Schengen countries. So why not get started? Spicy introvert. I love that name. Hello, Latoya. Hey. All right. Let's get this party started. So I should probably tell you who I am for those of you who don't know me, because I'm seeing new faces, so I might be a new face. I'm Krishan Wright. I'm the founder of Black Sick Global and the host of the Black Sick Global podcast. Yes, there's a podcast. Black Sick Global exists to empower and inspire members of the African diaspora to pursue a life abroad, like I have. I'm joining you from Lisbon, Portugal. Yay, where I think Sunday makes 3 months. I've been living in Lisboa. Yes. And we are, I like to start these with announcements before I go into like the deep topic. So I want to catch y'all up on some things. So those of you who have been tuning in, I am hosting a Scout House in Portugal this summer. It is called Nomad Noir. And let me tell you, don't wait too long, because Yes. If you want to scout, come in the house. I'm your hostess with the mostest. You have an option of a 3-week stay or a 1-week stay, but the seats, the rooms are going. Okay. People are putting down money and they are going. So I'm going to drop the link if you are interested. It is in August. All the deets are in the link, as well as we have our summer meetup with I am doing in collaboration with our friends, our Black Utopia, who you already saw in the chat. We have our summer meetup. It's going to be a boat. We're going to be on a boat. Free Black people on a boat. What? Yes. Living our best lives, chilling. And y'all know about my lives. Sipping some vino. So if you want to be with us, chilling on the boat, those tickets also are going quick. So you might want to get down with the summer meetup we are having for our Juneteenth meetup, which is happening here in Lisbon, Portugal. I'm dropping that in the chat as well for y'all. What else do I have to tell you? Oh, yes. Some people, sadly, have missed the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, and they missed the information. They've been asking about moving to Portugal. And I want to tell you, if you missed the summit, you missed a good one. But guess what? All is not lost. You can purchase the replays. So if you are inclined, curious about moving to Portugal, or if you already live in Portugal, this summit is also helpful for you because we talked about things like making friends, taxes, NHR, which is a great big topic. I recently got my NHR approval, but we're not going into that in this live. And so get the replays. Like, you can choose. You can have 30 days of access. If you're diligent, that could work. But most people opt for the popular package, which is 1 year of replays. It's worth it. You'll see some great sessions on there, everything that you need. It's the one-stop shop, so you don't have to ask all around and figure out how to do it. It's right there for you. So those were the big things that I wanted to tackle. I see someone here from LinkedIn that said finally made a live. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, and some of you already purchased. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. Yakota said, can't wait for the June meetup. Maureen said, that's right. Free Black people on a boat. That's right. That's going to be us. A party will be had. And I'm already, because I'm the kind of person that celebrates my birthday for a month. June is when I'm turning 50. And so let me tell you, I've been looking at yachts. Not saying that meetup's gonna be a yacht, because it's not. Khaleesi will kill me. She's like, don't promise me a yacht. It's not a yacht. I'm talking about my birthday day party is gonna be a yacht. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have another Move to Portugal Summit alum. Yay! Thank you, Donna. Yay! And Spicy Introvert said, attended Exodus Summit 2023. I was a speaker at Exodus Summit 2023. And am inspired and motivated. I will push through the fear. Yes. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about pushing through the fear. Definitely feel free to put your questions in the chat. I will warn you now, this is probably not a feel-good live from me. If you are looking for the cheery, feel-good live, maybe last week we talked about making money online, any of my other lives, listen to the podcast, any of the replays, this is not this chat. I'm just warning you now. I won't be offended either, okay? I will not be offended. So we're going to talk about why you need to make 2024 your year to get out of America. Because most people here are living in America or originated from America. Though I know that there are people that tune in that are from other countries. This conversation is going to be primarily focused on the US, also because that's where I was born. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the reasons why, because I hear everything. I hear I don't want to leave because my people built this. I see this brain drain of highly educated people and people from other professions, other walks of life, leaving the US. What's going to be left? I can't leave my family. I can't leave my kids. I can't leave my grandkids. I can't leave. I can't leave. I can't leave. And that may or may not be true, but I also think you should leave. Mm-hmm. Yep, I think you should leave. So I will tell you, I am not a linear thinker. And so I jotted some things that I wanted to call your attention to. And we're just going to talk about some of it tonight because I think when people see what's going on with what's going on in the States, and I still keep a pulse on everything, I don't think that they often remember or are fully present to how we got here. Yeah, they're familiar with the original sin, slavery, but there are also big things in addition. And in my mind, while slavery ended, everything that followed in America has been optimization on that. So, like I said, no real order. We're going to just talk about some of the low points as it relates to us. Because, like I said, it's been an optimization. So, we talked about slavery, and then there was, Jim Crow, right? We talked about Reconstruction, Jim Crow. People are most familiar with that. And we think about things like the Tulsa Race Massacre. Black people that had a prosperous neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was decimated. We think about things like Black Wall Street, where we had prosperous communities, where we had theaters, schools, banks, you name it. People had homes, pianos, businesses galore, where we kept our dollar, our Black dollar, circulated in our community. And most of that was out of necessity because we couldn't patronize white establishments. We were told that our money wasn't good there, that we couldn't sit there, that we had to go to the back of the bus, we had to go to the back of the store, we weren't even allowed to buy. We couldn't make eye contact. We couldn't walk on the same side of the street. This was after slavery. After. Right? And so when I look today, and like I said, this is not going to be a linear conversation. When I look today and I see the stuff that's going on in America, where most of our dollars, 97% of our dollars as Black Americans isn't spent in our own community. Think about your own shopping. Most of us are patronizing stores that are not Black owned. Let's just talk about grocery stores, right? Grocery stores. We don't know I can't think of a successful nationwide Black grocery chain or even regional. We had Black grocery stores, they were thriving. We had dry cleaners, we had all of these things. And in 2023, when there's millions of dollars and billions of dollars that are floating around in this country, when we think about where we spend our money, oftentimes 97% of the time, it is not spent in our own community. That dollar doesn't get to circulate in our community. Think about our hair, right? Many of us, when we go to get our hair done, while we might patronize a Black establishment because we don't like everybody in our hair, for those of us that have like to glamorize, like I have you probably can't see it, my hair is purple. In the States, where do we buy our hair? Where do we buy our hair? We buy our hair and hair products from people that don't look like us, right? Or the stuff that's going on now, where literally the CEO of Target last week said that they are cracking down on theft by locking up hair care products, toothpaste. I'm like, is that bad, y'all? Is that bad? Is that bad up in these streets? That we have to ask permission to get toothpaste, to get our hair products? Just the mere fact that it's bad enough that oftentimes our hair products cost more, right? That's the black tax. But to add, we have to have it locked up because inherently you're saying that they're, high theft. Who, who, who? Our Black Utopia said, I quit Walmart 100% when they locked up only the black hair care products. Yes, I've seen it. Latoya said, speaking facts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even if where you live, it isn't locked up where you live, it's being locked up where other people live. Because at the end of the day, while we originate from America or live in America, America is a very individualistic society. Pick yourself up by your bootstrap, right? The challenge is, as people of the African diaspora, guess what? We're a collective. So we're constantly butting up against what our inherent nature is, against the bigger macro image in the macro society, which is very individualistic, that says, I got to look out for me. Too bad that's happening to you. No, if it's happening to your brother or your sister, guess what? It's only a matter of time before it happens to you. Only a matter of time. And what happens? People are getting killed stealing from stores, right? Stealing from stores. A bottle of shampoo that's $8, a human life. Make that make sense. I don't give a shit how much that bottle costs. I would argue that a human life is more than that. Especially when these CEOs are making what, 1,000% more than their lowest paid employee, but at the same time, right, these companies are gobbling up other companies, billions of dollars. We're taking joyrides up to space while still saying, oh, we have to look out for the environment. We're glorifying people on the cover of Forbes when really the cover of Forbes, I can think of all these people that are felony, right? Felons. Martha Stewart been on the cover, Theranos chick, the dude that just the Binance dude, the FTX dude. Like those are just the ones that roll off my tongue. So we glorify these billionaires and then question, oh, where's our reparations money going? Again, our dollars aren't even circulating in our own community. Black Mermaid said that's American math. You got that right. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go back. Whew. I knew, I was like, I wanted to do this live on Thanksgiving. I was like, nah, let them have their turkey. Let them have their turkey. Because I could even go off on that on Thanksgiving, but we're not going to do that today. the Scottsboro boys, there were 9 black teenagers that were falsely accused of raping a white woman. They didn't even get due process. But interestingly enough, and I believe, and somebody keep me honest in the chat, but I believe it was one of, either was it Trump or one of his co-conspirators on one of the number of felonies that he's facing, tried to use this statute that was around the Scottsboro boys as defense to say that, I think it was for Trump's case. Like moving forward with this case would put my client in an undue advantage. He wouldn't have due process, and reference the Scottsboro boys case. An affluent so-called billionaire facing multiple felonies. Tried to overthrow an election. Using laws that were made because we were either exploited or needed to be protected to protect them. Interesting. I mean, look, it's no different than what's going on right now, right? With the Fearless Fund, right? The billionaire who's taking the Fearless Fund that's supposed to be providing grants to Black businesses, primarily women-owned businesses, because honestly, Black women are creating entrepreneurial adventures outpacing any other demographic. We're also the highest educated. And so, but the least funded, despite all of our excellence, and we know we are the least funded. And they say systemic racism doesn't exist. But for the little bit of money that the Fearless Fund has been able to, and I'm not saying the little bit of money they've been able to disperse, but the percentage as it relates to what 99.9% of the money goes to white funders, and they have moved it a fraction of a percent, that was enough of a threat to this poor mediocre white man that happens to have a couple zeros behind in his bank account to come after them. Miss me with that. But again, Emmett Till, 14-year-old Emmett Till. So interestingly enough, when I was interviewed a few minutes ago, I was talking, the interviewer was asking me like why today, as we look at the Black movement, that women seem to be at the forefront of the movement and sounding the alarm as it relates to this Black exodus, this Blacksit. And I argue that it is not new. It's not a new phenomenon. Because when we look at pivotal moments in our history, Black women were center stage, right? So we think about, Rosa Parks, and we think about the bravery that Mamie Till showed when her son was brutalized, hunted, brutalized, beaten, murdered, that she made the brave decision to have an open casket to show the world, not just America, the world, what they did to her child. When we think about the bravery of Fannie Lou Hamer, who shared, and that daggone damn president tried to silence her by coming on TV and having a fake press conference, right? As she talked about the plight as a sharecropper and having undergone a Mississippi appendectomy, is what they called that. And we know Black bodies have been exploited for medical purposes for centuries. centuries. So when we look at pivotal moments in our history, we look at Josephine Baker, right? She was able to be a spy. Like there are Black women that have paved the way. And so this is no different to me. Angie said, I appreciate this educational talk. I'm not ashamed to say I know some things, but not all of this. I have a lot to ponder. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The ABX girl, one of the exonerated five, ran for city council and won. Yes. When 45 took out a front page ad uh, in the New York Times, I believe, keep me honest here, calling for the former Central Park Five to face the death penalty. Mm-hmm. And when our beloved Tina Turner, who became an ancestor this year, yep, she left for Switzerland and renounced her citizenship. Mm-hmm. Sure did. Mm-hmm. Yes, Phyllis, sending you much love and positive. Yes, yes. And I'm so glad you did that though. So this, as I warned, was not going to be one of these light lives. And so I'm glad that Phyllis said that she wanted to take a time from this. Definitely well within your right. I hope you feel better. Wishing you well on your surgery on Monday. And I'll see you soon, Phyllis. Yes, the murder of our leaders, Medgar Evers. Oh, yeah, the KKK. You know, the KKK is still not labeled as a domestic terrorist organization, but BLM, the Black Panthers, a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Where was I before? Oh, so the exploitation. So we think about Henrietta Lacks and how her DNA was stolen, her cancer cells, and they were immortal, still used today. That Henrietta Lacks's cells, HeLa, Henrietta Lacks, HeLa, immortal cells. So rather than try to save this woman's life, they stole her cells. And it is a cell line that reproduces indefinitely. And so think of all of the medical advances that happened as a result of the theft of her cells, to which her family has not seen nearly near a fraction, a penny, compared to the mega corporations, big pharma, that have utilized them. Tuskegee experiment, right? 400 Black men with syphilis. The experiment went on from 1932, government funded indeed, to 1972. I, friends, was born in 1974. Mhm. Talk about some dossiers. Let's talk about the dossiers. Dossiers on our leaders. And kind of goes back to what I was saying about women and having a pivotal role. Whether they were fighting in the streets, there were also people that were fighting and leveraging their platforms to highlight our plight. So I think about Billie Holiday and Strange Fruit. And you think about what she went through with being followed, being tapped by the FBI, while at present day, 2023, right, J. Edgar Hoover's name is still on the FBI building. And he had dossiers saying that what was like might be misquoting the Black Messiah. That was the greatest threat to democracy. It's a Black Messiah. Hmm. But yeah, his name is still on the FBI building. He was FBI director for 50 years. 50. I am not even 50 years old yet. So you think, how many presidents, how many laws, how much damage can you do over a course of half a century? And so when he died, that damn crook Nixon named the building after him. You mean Nixon, President Nixon, who did Watergate? President Nixon, who did Watergate, named the FBI building after Hoover, who had spied on Black leaders, may or may not have had a hand in their unaliving. Has a name, has a building named after him. Oh, the same president who took the United States off of the gold standard, meaning we could only spend as much gold as we had, to now going to the fiat system, which means that you can continue to print paper because you know, you don't have to back that stuff up by anything. You can just keep printing it. And so, in theory, the US dollar isn't any different than, I don't know, this piece of paper right here. Only difference is it comes out of the Department of the Treasury. And so, why are we trillions of dollars in debt? But yet we can fund wars in other countries and commit genocide in present day, Congo, Palestine. Okay. Maybe when your leader was, found to be a crook, maybe we should undo some of the things that he did. Like, hey, might have been a good decision to put the US back on the gold standard. Hey, might not have wanted that guy's name on that building. I mean, he should have been put in jail, but that's a different story. Anya said, oops, I put the wrong one up. One of the reason why the US dollar is becoming weak in the BRIC nations, yes, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, BRIC nations are coming on strong, yes. And if you want to learn more about BRICS, this might be a new acronym for some, definitely check out Ashley in Africa's YouTube channel. She was a guest on season 5 of the Black to Global podcast and has an excellent backstory that you can listen to on the show. But she also talks about investing in Africa. She has her Investing in Africa Investor Summit. And she also has an Investing in Africa Academy and talks extensively on her channel about BRICS. So for those of you who are looking for resources, yeah. Yeah. Screw the economy by taking the US off of the gold standard. Yep. They did. Yeah, it's possible they did. But yeah, I mean, her family, they stole, they stole her cells. And then they said, oh, but at that time, we didn't have informed consent. They always got a way. But yeah, getting back to using platforms. So Billie Holiday had talked about, a lot of things through her songs. Um, and then there were times where people used events. We looked at celebrities of the past, which in a lot of ways are very different than celebrities we have in our communities today. But like Eartha Kitt, she was blackballed after making Poor Sweet Ladybird cry, right? Eartha Kitt, Catwoman. Yeah, poor, she hurt her white feelings for tears. Yep, because she was calling attention to what was going on. And for that, she made headlines, and for that, she lost her career. And then, like I said, they took out our leaders, had additional dossiers, because, the FBI did all that good stuff, including murdering, I mean, you could say that, right? Unaliving Fred Hampton, 21 years old. 1967, he was 21 years old. 21 years old. They sent informants to spy on him and the Black Panthers. Remember, they didn't want a Black Messiah. That was a threat. Drugged him, broke into his home, shot him dead. And when they went to trial, guess what? They said, was it Cooks County? I'm looking, Cooks County State's Attorney Office said it was a justifiable homicide. But the Black Panthers were providing, education, free lunches, building our community, economic opportunities, talking about Black pride. It's funny that anytime we talk about us, pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps, leading by example, keeping our Black dollar, talking about Black pride, that anything about our freedom is radicalized. Kind of like Plaxit. We can think about leaders that are, newly ancestors, recent years, but who fought fights for years and gave their lives. I think about John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, freedom fighter, right? He was involved in SNCC, all of these things. And up until his death, he fought for voting rights because he saw the very things that he, went through and fought for, including getting beaten on Bloody Sunday on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And when he died, when John Lewis died, they took his body over the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Edmund Pettus was KKK leader, some affiliation with the KKK, which again is not a terrorist organization. It's not hate crime, right? It's not a hate organization. To this day, dossiers on us. Anything we do is hate crime, related, sinister organization, but the KKK is off limits. Okay. But that's okay because they've infiltrated the police departments. But despite everything that John Lewis gave for his life, as his body was brought across that bridge, that damn man's name was still on it. Couldn't even dignify and honor his death by changing the name of the bridge. And what are we in? 2023, maybe a month away from 2024, and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act still hasn't passed. Oh, and for those of you who are still following, Edmund Pettis' name is still on that bridge. Hmm. Yes, there's a dossier on Aretha Franklin. Hmm. Sure is. Sure is. All right. Y'all still rocking with me? I told you it wasn't going to be one of those lives. Going back to medical abuses. Have y'all heard the story of Vertus Hardiman? Vertus Hardiman, Hardiman. Vertus was, he passed away a few years ago. He was a Black man who grew up in Indiana. And when he was 5, he attended a school in the South. It was the Lyles, I'm going to read in this, Lyles Station Elementary School in Indiana. And the local hospital, local community government, told his family and other Black children, because the school was only for Black children, that they wanted to do a study, and they wanted to help cure like ringworm, like scalp infections, ringworm. So, they were like, oh, we have these treatments to prevent ringworm in the schools, and we have, this, because at that time our schools were like shacks. And, you have all these kids in these schools, so you don't want lice or, ringworm or anything. So we have these treatments we're going to put on their scalp. And the parents said, oh, okay, yeah, right. In fact, this government-funded study was to see how much radiation the human body could withstand. So Vertus and his classmates were subjected to unthinkable levels of radiation. You might want to Google his name, in which you will see a very, very grotesque picture, because Vertus's skull disintegrated, and for the rest of his life, he wore wigs and a hat to disguise the fact that his skull, his brain, was exposed. It wasn't until he was in his 80s that he told his truth of what they did to him. Government funded. Government funded. Thank you, Teresa. Wow. There's one on April, right? I mean, why am I saying wow? Am I surprised? Shit, for all we know, there's one on me. Right? I won't limit this to the US, because, some people do, oh, you but there was Sarge, also known as Sarah. That was her anglicized name. Sarah Bartholomew, also referred to as the Hottentot Venus. She was taken around Europe as a freak show because Sarge, had a voluptuous bottom that was bigger than white women. And so they felt that, rather than let her live her free life, that they were going to put her in a cage and take her around as a sideshow freak show, um, that was appropriate. And when she died, because she died in 1850, 1815, excuse me, 1815. They also used her body for medical procedures. And when she died, France lobbied to keep her skull and her genitalia on display in a museum, Musée des Hommes in Paris. And Nelson Mandela lobbied France to get her remains for years. It was a lot of negotiation, far too many. Sarah Sargent died in 1815. France kept her remains on display. And they even had like a mold at one point. I mean, some gross ass shit, right? It's demonic. Uh, till 2002. Yes, 2002. And then they were successful in getting her remains back to her homeland. And so now she's buried on the continent. 200 years after her death. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not after her death, after her birth. When they see us. Mm-hmm. When they see us. I mean, we see it. We see it still going on today, right? We see our books are being taken out of schools. The AP, right? There's a whole big thing about the AP test, not having African studies because, we can't talk about critical race theory. Who's worried about being criticized? Is there something that you should be ashamed of? Have you did something you weren't supposed to do? See that what's going on with the 1619 Project? We see the plight of Black farmers, right? Black farmers who have passed down for generations, right? We were supposed to have our 40 acres and a mule. That got turned over, right? And even today, we still have Black farmers that are trying to do their best, but they are not getting bank loans, farmer loans. They are being encroached by white farmers who are getting government subsidies. They are being overlooked. This is what's going on today, 2023. And much like, Eartha Kitt got blackballed, we saw what happened, what they did to Billie Holiday and others. We see it in present day. I stand on the fact that I think Colin Kaepernick is so brave because that is so rare. So rare. Right? I mean, that level of bravery we hadn't seen probably, y'all keep me honest in chat because y'all are usually good at this. Since Muhammad Ali, right? They stripped him of his title. Colin Kaepernick, he stopped playing in 2015, but people still tune in for the Super Bowl. He took a knee. He took a knee to call attention to the plight of what we're dealing with in present day. And they said, oh, what? We had a Black president. You're only half Black. Has anybody seen Colin Kaepernick play? Hmm. Oh, that's right. All the NFL players, most, except for, right, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, most NFL players are Black. All of the NFL owners are white. The parallels. Hmm. Interesting. In 2023. So since Colin took that stand, right, because he said, y'all killing us, you know, right? I think he stopped playing in 2015. Y'all keep me honest. And nobody stood with him. They kept getting that money. They kept going for that check. So I think he last played in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it was 2015. Sandra Bland was murdered in 2015. Say her name. Sandra Bland. Botham Jean was murdered in his home by a policewoman who thought that she went into her apartment and thought that because of her mistake that he should not be alive. Mm-hmm. Ahmaud Arbery went for a run, a jog, chased and hunted down. Breonna Taylor shot in the home. No knock warrant. Atiana Jefferson, 2019. Neighbor saw a door ajar. Police came, unalived her. And guess what? Conspiracy. Google it. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. And we watched that over and over and over again on television while we were on lockdown, facing a crisis that, right, happens once in a generation. Say their names. And then people thought, oh my gosh, this is our moment, because we had international support, groundswell. And then there was Dante Wright, who was murdered by a police officer who was actually training another police officer and mistakenly pulled out her service revolver instead of a taser. Yeah. And, America doesn't discriminate because they go after kids, right? Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Oscar Grant. He was like on the cusp, right? Doesn't matter. I remember when I had just moved to New Jersey when Sean Bell was murdered on his wedding day. But if that is too far past, we can go to present day. Jordan Neely, who was an unhoused man in New York City who was choked by a white vigilante on a subway in 2023. Because Jordan saying that he was hungry was perceived as a threat. And so the man choked him to death on a crowded New York City subway train. Because, you don't even have to just worry about the police. Really. since the beginning of time. People feel that they're emboldened to ask, do you belong here? What do you do for a living? As to qualify and make the story straight. I mean, we see these videos all the time on social media, right? Karens, Kens, what do I talk about on the podcast? Yeah. Or moms protecting their young. Like any parent can get you killed in America. Say her name, A.J. Owens, who was murdered by her neighbor in 2023. Mm-hmm. Say their names. And these are just a few, right? I mean, we could be here all night. We can go to police back to the 80s, Eleanor Bumpers, chokehold death of Eric Garner, 2014. And then the near fatalities, right? Abner Louima, who was brutalized in a New York City police department with a broomstick, violated. Haitian American, excuse me. 1997. Mm-hmm. Children that were chased in Howard Beach to their deaths across the highway. And again, if these things are too far in the past, let's bring it to present day. Let's talk about the Goon Squad. Let's talk about Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, who were victims of the Goon Squad. 2023, a covert operation where they were their own police, supposedly flew under the radar. Come to find out, after they almost unalived these gentlemen, that the Goon Squad had been in existence for 2 decades. And people wonder why is the KKK a hate crime, hate organization? Maybe because there's a report that it indicated that once it was no longer cool to be running around with sheets and putting crosses on people's lawns, that, hey, you too can keep these folks in line by becoming a member of the police. And guess what? You don't have to face criminal prosecution if you kill them. But yet, some people are just fixated and wondering, why would you leave? Why would you leave all of this? Vicky said, those are just a few that have made the national news, and there are millions more of our people who are routinely murdered. Exactly. Say their names, never forget. Yep. Yep. They passed other people's with the quickness, but not us. But interestingly enough, they have not. They have not. But then you have people who, especially now, right? Because y'all getting ready to go into the 2024 presidential election. And I say y'all because you're in the States, most of you. I am voting, um, is there is, I don't even know, and you can help me with it. It feels like it's a level of cognitive dissonance, as if, even like I said, if some of the things that I mentioned are too far in the past, let's just look from 2020 to what's coming up, right? 2024, 4 years. Storming the freaking Capitol. You know how many cameras were on these people? But somehow, most of them got away. Some chartered planes. Y'all ain't looking at no credit card statements. Nobody's noticing their coworkers. Bob from the water cooler. That's him running around the Capitol with the flag. And so the ringleader is leading in the polls for the Republican nomination. Are you fucking kidding me? What? Has his own social media platform called Truth, right? And then, look, there's a lot of things I can say about the Republican Party. I've sat across the table when I used to be in politics and negotiate the budget. That's when they used to be sane. And the hood in chief, 91 felonies, leading in the polls. And oh, that's right, even if he is convicted of any of those, he can still serve as president. But they wonder what about, I'll leave it at that. Auntie Lou said, I'm so happy I left New York City, I don't even recognize it anymore. Tell me about it. Stephen, why in these last two elections it comes down to voting for Lex Luthor or the Joker? Make it make sense, right? I mean, he said, go to the Capitol. I'll be right behind you. Yeah, you was behind, all right. you know? Oh yeah. I saw that. I saw that headline, Becca. And apparently he wasn't the only one. It was one I saw over the weekend that he wasn't the only one that they did that to. Yeah, a black man was run over by police, buried him, did not notify the family. The ABX girl said, I'm renewing my passport in advance and will be out of the USA January 2025, or hopefully. Yes! Congratulations. Yeah. And you know how vindictive 45 was during his presidency, right? Or, as I like to refer to it, occupation of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But do you know how much vengeance, with his little fragile ego and little hands and other little, presumably, body parts, you know how much hell he's going to unleash? Even if he is doing it from the jail cell. What? Like his lawyers have pled guilty for fraud. Like, it's just like, wait, what? But we're land of free, home of the brave, greatest country in the world. Yoga bliss dance. Is the American passport worth it? I think so. Yeah. I mean, at least now. I mean, undeniably, you have to say, regardless of the things that I just spoke of, is that it's still a strong passport. And by passport strength, it means how many countries can you enter freely, with or without a visa. US passport is still pretty strong in comparison to others. How long will that last? I don't know. America's got a lot of debt. We didn't even talk about the debt. I was just focused. Tonight's conversation was just what they've done to us, just a snippet. I haven't even gotten onto corporate America. There's a video on my channel about corporate, but yeah, get a strong passport or get two. Like I plan to, because girl gotta have options. Your girl's gotta have options. I'm looking at my email now, asking for funding to stop the police. I just don't see a point more why sign petitions and give money. This country will never do right by us. You got that right. What do they say? Doing the same thing but expecting different results is the definition of insanity. We have to stop the insanity. We have to stop the excuses, right? No, you don't need $1 million to move abroad. No, you don't need $500,000. No, you don't need 100,000, right? No, you don't need to have a job. Yes, you can still keep in contact with your family members, right? There are planes. There are little phones, right? These little devices, right? There are emails. Think about it. Highest educated demographic. Take your talent and skills. If you could do work for, right, a company, business, an organization, you don't get paid the same rate as the highest person that's on the top of the food chain. So you're still giving everything 9 to 5, 8 to 4, sometimes 8 to 8, because you take your phone home, you're doing some work, you're working on vacation, right? Not taking PTO, not taking a sick day, not using any of your benefits, because you don't want them to think that you're not a good worker, B. Damn that productivity. Rest. Our ancestors paid the debt. Our ancestors paid the debt and have been robbed. Like I mentioned, 40 acres and a mule, free labor. But I mean, how can you expect the United States to have some type of empathy for us, right? When for centuries we were considered property, a commodity. So if you can see the humanity and not just the owning the possession of it, and I shared in my Instagram stories a few days ago for those of you following me on Instagram, that they found in the wills, it's still on record, the wills of former slaveholders and how they willed their property. And it was like forever. So it wasn't just that we were property, it was the breeding of this property, the human trafficking, the rape and murder, unaliving, the torture, right? Because if you're looking at somebody in the wrong way, lose an eye, rip out your tongue. Men that served overseas that got a taste of what it felt like to be a full man serving overseas, getting respect, and then coming back to the country that they served and being told, boy, get to the back of the bus. Called out their name. Not receiving benefits. Like I said, some of us send our kids to school or were educated in schools that had the names of slaveholders on the building, Confederate soldiers. I mean, that's like going to Germany and having like schools named after Hitler. You don't see that because they realize that that is wrong. But yet, the greatest country in the world has no problem having Confederate statues or having presidents that were also slave masters on their currency. Hmm. Make it make sense, y'all. Tell me. I don't know. Ask him. Mm-hmm. Auntie Lou! Auntie Lou got free, y'all. Congratulations, Auntie Lou. Hell yes, Auntie Lou. Yes, do the happy dance. Let's celebrate Auntie Lou. I love that for you too. Yes. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. Auntie Lou said, after I ate lunch today, I found myself sitting on my bed, kicking my feet, and doing a happy dance that I finally left. I know what that feels like. Because every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm living my dream. Take your power back, y'all. Take your power back. Why would you put your power into what your manager might say if they give you permission to move here, or as if there's like conditions on every little thing in your life? We're free. The debt's been paid. And you know this. You know this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. You remember when I was sitting in New Jersey and I started the podcast almost 4 years ago to now sitting in Lisbon, Portugal. So I'm not saying this from like, oh yeah, this is like, it took a while, right? I had things to do. I had children to finish rearing. But I got to the side. I looked at the goal. I stayed the course. I got in community. I created the thing that I needed and also that helped other people. I mean, 13 people from Blacks to Global Passport in Portugal this year alone, not including our one member that's in Thailand. Or if you listen to last season of the podcast, one of our members who is in Vietnam, the episode I did with Grace, and she just had her bestie there last week and they had an awesome time. Yes, there are countries where you can get in where you fit in. And it doesn't mean you have to stay forever. You can stay for 3 months, you can stay for 6 years, you can stay for 30 years, right? But you get to decide. You get to live on your own terms. You get to have peace and safety. You get to have that feeling that Auntie Lou just had. You get to have your nervous system thank you for making that decision. You get to experience unadulterated joy that you don't have to contain, you don't have to contort, you don't have to tone police, be small, change yourself, self gaslight, just to exist. Now, many people like wake up and they're realizing, they have that epiphany that, damn, it's going to hell in a handbasket, right? It feels like when I think about the US, I use this analogy recently. It's like, you saw the movie, right? Titanic. You remember when the ship was like partially in the water and partially above, and then the lights started flickering, like, that's what it feels like when I see these stories every day. mass shootings. I mean, day after day. People can't even keep count anymore. More guns than people. We look at, and I didn't get into some of the statistics, right? Black maternal infant death rate, high. Black maternal death rate and Black infant death rate, high in America. Food deserts. I can't go anywhere in Portugal without finding food. And if our Black Utopia is still in the chat, look, let me tell you, there's fruterias, there's mercados, there's stores, there's people selling stuff on the street. I haven't seen a food desert in any of the countries that I've traveled to. I think, yeah, when I go next week makes country 17 or 18. Malcolm said Portugal is a food oasis. It is. If y'all been following my Instagram stories, especially the past 2 days, I've been in the, or not 2 days, 4 days, I've been in these streets. I've been hanging out with Jolene GC from the Come Up series. Definitely like and subscribe to their channel. We've been in these streets. I mean, she's on a flight home, but we were in these streets, okay? Eating good food. We had Angolan food 2 times, 2 different restaurants. Last night we had an amazing meal. Yeah, amazing. So sorry to hear that, Greta. Yeah, that's an issue that has been coming up. I've seen in different like areas where servicemen and women, particularly Black servicemen and women, coming back and having weird cancers pop up. Brain cancer. So sorry. Exposure to these, illnesses. Jean wants to know, what do you know about the ease of starting businesses there for us? Are you talking about a specific country or in general? I can answer either way. I've had the honor and pleasure of talking to quite a few people on the Black Global podcast, many of whom they went abroad, did not plan on starting a business, but started a business because they finally had the mental space, right, to think and give birth to these creative ideas. Some have turned them into $1 million businesses. Some have been able to support their lifestyle, depends on what type of business. But definitely listen to those episodes. We also talked about it. We did in the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. One of our summit sponsors, Lighthouse Consulting, did a talk on how to start a business in Portugal. So definitely, if you haven't already, get the replays because that will give you the blueprint. And then here, I've met so many Black American and Black people from all across the diaspora that have businesses, here in Portugal, or I've seen it in other countries, that they know that if they had stayed in America, that they would not have been able to do. The barrier is too high, either monetarily, and you need to pay attention to the wealth gap because you think it's big now. The biggest transfer of wealth is happening before our eyes as the boomers start to pass assets to their heirs. And I read this article today that the next growing segment of millionaires are people who have not worked for any of it. It's just being passed through, no tax, because the way the trusts are structured, keeping it in the family. So again, thinking that, we're going to play catch up when they've had a 400 plus year head start, it's a fallacy. Get out, get out, get out. Take your freedom dollars, go somewhere else, get your peace, start a business, relax, live a life of ease, come up with an idea, have people work for you. And people say, oh, that's so hard. It's not anything in life is easy. But even outside of that, a lot of times we're thinking of it because we've only existed in one social construct. When you can extricate yourself from that construct and get into a new environment where you have fertile ground to flourish, your life takes on a different meaning. One of the things I love about, especially being here in Portugal, is there are so many content creators, and we share ideas, and we're able to like vibe on each other's vibe or help each other with different resources. That when I was siloed in my apartment in New Jersey, my peer set, everybody worked for a corporation. Everybody worked for someone else. Everybody else was so busy, right? No one could relate to me talking in this mic with people in different parts of the world. Like, that was crazy. Or getting on here and talking on YouTube was crazy, right? But when you are with people who are, Char always uses this analogy, iron sharpens iron, right? So you can vibe the new crew. Your vibe definitely attracts your tribe. And I have to say that I am very blessed in having such a fantastic community in Black to Global Passport. Actually, I had lunch with one of our members today who's in the chat. Hey, Malcolm. Oh, yes. So for those of you who want to join Black to Global Passport and get into our accountability group, and we are meeting not this coming Thursday, the following Thursday. And I realized that's the day I come back from my trip to Italy, but I think my flight's early enough. But I mean, Italy's only like a 3-hour flight. Y'all, that ticket was $126 round trip. What? Catch me if you can. Wait, let's see, where's my link? Oh, yes. And this also came, and I apologize for someone who, I don't know where, if it was a DM or was a comment, had asked about coaching. I tried posting in a bunch of different places because I couldn't find the message anymore. So this one is for Black to Global Passport, but I have been doing a lot of coaching sessions this past week because thankfully people are realizing that 2024 is going to be a doozy, regardless of which way it goes. Because I didn't even get started on Genocide Joe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stephen, I don't believe it either. I don't believe it either. Hey, Tamesia, I didn't see you slide up in here. Hey, I am going to Rome, Florence, and Orvieto. And so, y'all, I'm finally going to meet our moderator. Y'all remember when I had Victoria. It's taken us almost 4 years, but it's going to be a face to face happening. So I'm excited about that. He have said Proverbs 27:17 speaks about iron sharpens iron. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do a vlog yoga bliss dance. I at least will go live, most likely, while I'm there. That I think I can commit to, as long as I can get around the country without any like major issues. But I'm looking forward to it. I want to do a cooking class. I did a cooking class when I was in Bali last year. I loved it. Um, yeah, I am looking forward to this. And then I already have like other countries that I want to like get to. Um, Word Up Psychotherapy says Rome is falling. You got that right. I predict that Americans in the next year will be flooding borders around the world to get out. I will not be left behind. That's what I'm talking about. If you watching this channel, look, I got the receipts. Okay, I got the receipts. You want to get out? I'm your girl. Mm-hmm. Auntie Lou said, now that Auntie Lou is free, crying and releasing the stress at the same time. Yes. Yes. Nothing but tacos and bed rest. That's what I'm saying. I love that for you. I love that for you. Tacos and bed rest. Let me tell you, I had the masseuse come Monday. They come to my house. She comes to my house. 90 minutes. Get all of that. Mm, 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 mm. I outsource most of my life now. I know, Teresa. What you waiting for? So this coming week, I only am doing Monday, possibly Tuesday, because I'm going to be in Italy. Because I need a break. I moved, got here, had to get settled, and Exodus Summit, and then moved to Portugal Summit. And, you know, all the other stuff, right? Doing our freedom dinner. And now, season 6, I've already listened to the second episode of the show. I gave approval for that one. And I was like, ooh, I gotta take a break before like I get into like heavy recording season, because the goal of this is to embrace this being a move abroad, right? Is to embrace ease. It's not to keep with hustle culture. It's not to keep on the grind all the time, right? I want to live a life. I want to lead by example. So it's like, no, I need a break. I need to see some sights. That's why I'm like not promising that I'll do any content, because content is also work. I want to enjoy the moment. I want to be in the present. I want to see the sights. Maybe I'll share a couple stories on Instagram. Maybe I'll do a reel or something. I don't know, or a short. But I'm not committing to anything, right? Because I know I'm committing to the show, which is January 1st. I don't think I said this. January 1st, 2024. So New Year's Day is the premiere of season 6 of the Black Sick Global podcast. And let me tell you, I'm warning you now, we're coming in hot for season 6. Just saying. Just saying. Services and businesses are lacking. There's a lot. There's a lot. Depends on what your interests are, skill set, right? I mean, think about your own tastes. as Americans, we still have our own particular taste. I think there's an opportunity for exporters, right? So, or importers, right? So there's certain things that we like and are harder to get, and so you can start catering to that. That right there is like easy money. Thank you. I'm looking forward to my first time. Yeah, Greta. I was like, and I think I caught it on a high day too, because I think the ticket at one point was like one something, 117 somewhere. Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Steven said, I'm stuck between Portugal, Mexico, and Italy. Ooh. I've not been, well, I've not been to Mexico and I've not been to Italy because it's not yet next week. Um, but yeah, all good choices. All good choices. Okay. How many months per year do you get to venture outside? Um, yeah, it doesn't really count because it's in the Schengen. Doesn't really count. But I don't stay away too long. I mean, I'm going to South Africa in February for 2 weeks. But I also don't stay away too long because, I got fur baby. Her baby misses her mama. So, yeah. Pisces, no, I'm not. But I've been eating some Cape Verdean food, but I've not been yet. I've not been yet. But yeah, up to definitely want to go there. Yes. Oh my goodness. This at home massage thing, it was like a new level has been unlocked. It's like, wait, what? Oh man, she goes to the house. I'm already like ready. I put the dog in the room because I made the mistake. I thought I was like, oh, the dog will be fine. So I had her on the couch. She was watching. And as soon as I lay on the table, I didn't think she could jump that high. She jumps on the table onto my back and like tries to lay on it like we're getting a massage. I'm like, no, Bailey. We are not getting a massage. I am getting a massage. So I put her little butt in the room so she knows now. Like, oh, when the masseuse shows up, you gotta take a little time out. Yes, black men need to have exhale and have tacos. That's right. You know that's right. Yes. This I believe it. It's gonna be in the history books. I mean, if they keep allowing us to have books. And then I saw this shenanigan clip today that's been going around. I think I shared it on my stories. It was like I don't know, BBC or I don't know what it was. This girl is testifying. I don't know where she was testifying, what body, whatever. Talking about wanting to ban the Scholastic Book Fair because when she was 11 years old, she read this book, or yeah, that she got from the fair, and it talked about a kiss. And the kiss, she doesn't mention the book, kiss sent her on this porn addiction for years. And then she kept saying, this is not about banning books. This is not about attacking LGBTQ. This is not about. She looks like she's under 21. I'm like, okay, so clearly, Republicans play the long game. Clearly, somebody who had an agenda paid her some money to go and say these things, right? Could it have happened? Sure, right? Okay. But why you keep talking about this is not about banning books? Well, isn't the Scholastic a freaking book fair? Hmm. And don't get me on the all skin folk and kinfolk because I see the former BLM dude from Rhode Island now is a pro 45er. I'm like, how much are they giving you? Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Clowns. Clownery. Clownery. Exactly. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't tell my mother until I turned 18." It's just like you have to wisdom and discernment, particularly as we go into the election cycle, is what's going to help you because you're going to have to filter and connect the dots. I am here to help, but I cannot do it all. Right? That is why I spent the past hour and 35 minutes talking, right? You have to connect the dots. We've talked about history, we talked about present day, but it's all the same. It's all the same. Outsourcing is, it is. I never thought I was like, I literally, like I hired an editor for the show this season, the guy that came to put the stuff together in my apartment. I don't think there's anything else that's coming that I need to have assembled. Have the masseuse. Um, yeah, pretty much everything outsourced. Bailey is not coming to Italy. Nope. Which she could. She has a pet passport. The goal is maybe like when I go to Spain, because it'll be easier. I can probably do that. Just rent a car and we'll do like a little mommy puppy trip. Anya said, my choice is to move to either Portugal or Spain, and I definitely want to visit the countries on the continent of Africa, especially Durham and South Africa. Yes, I'm definitely doing South Africa. I still have to buy my ticket. Um, but that is the plan because I gotta like secure the puppy first, and then I could like live my life. hmm Yes, Auntie Lou, start that Spanish. Start that Spanish. That will serve you well. It just allows you to have build your confidence, right? And then just the depth of conversation that you can have. Mm-hmm. Stephen, I see you, right? Yeah, Justin Stephen, yeah. But look, he's a clown because he went on Roland and Martin. I think Greta sent it to me before the live. Went on Roland Martin talking about 45 being persecuted. Roland ate his ass up. As he should, because it was just a damn clown. Clown. I'm just like, you and Omarosa hang out? Like, what? I don't understand this. It's like, what, Steven from Django? Remember that? He ate the white cake. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, yes, Becca. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, get out, get out. Black Girl Freed said, Hill Harper, I saw that. He got Hill Harper. Is Hill Harper running in the Senate, right? Or is it the House of Representatives? And he was offered 20 million to run against Talib. The same woman that they censured because she was advocating for her people. House of Representatives, yes, it would be House of Representatives, not the Senate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's working as it was designed to work. hmm Think about it. When I was, oh gosh, when I was a kid growing up in the Bronx, and I remember my mom, would take me with her when she would go to vote, and they had the, curtain, and you pull the lever, and I was like, I love that. And I was like, oh, when I grow up, I can't wait to vote. I can't wait to vote because she would let me pull the curtain and everything. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm pretty sure they still have like the curtain and the thing. Some of them have the little, you know, touch screen thing. Some of them have different. There's no uniformity in voting. So I can vote for So You Think You Can Dance using Facebook, my phone, my laptop, whatever. I can vote the next American Idol. But, people that are running the country. And oh, don't think that, hey, because I'm talking about all of this stuff, it's your cue to tap out. No. Because if you tap out and you don't vote at all, you're just playing into the devil's hands. Because it's not just about the people at the top, it's about all levels, right? Local government, right? School board, all levels. So you can't tap out because those are local judges, right? There's the sheriff's office, there's the school board, right? There's the county officials. They're all the levels. And some have more influence than others. And there are also changes that are happening on a level, on the Supreme Court level, that have implications for who can challenge an election. These are things that are happening in 2023. So you can't just say, oh, I'm going to sit this one out because this is not. No. Because guess what? Even with that, like I talked about, John Lewis, our ancestors paid the bill, right? They gave their blood. They fought for votes, right? Fannie Lou Hamer, John Lewis, right? There were luminaries, Martin Luther King. They fought. We don't get to sit that up. We get to leave and we can vote from abroad. Because you know what? I still got to pay taxes. That don't change. So yeah, you can't sit this out. It's too important. And even if you felt that way, guess what? People still have loved ones there. You still have somebody you care about. You don't get to sit this one out. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's right. Vote on your way out. Yes, yes. I haven't seen H&D Abroad's latest live, but definitely subscribe to their channel. I've been a guest on their show. They've been a guest here. They're also the bonus episode for the podcast. Patricia said, I'm looking forward to leaving Babylon altogether soon. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Go to the continent. Go wherever. Get in where you fit in. I plan on going in February. I'm excited. I'm excited. Yes, Greta said, continue to vote in U.S. elections in your new country. Absolutely. I mean, you're paying taxes. Why would you pay that money and then not vote? Right? Please vote. Jametta, I'm so glad you caught me too. I'm so glad you caught me too. Let's see. And look, Greta, I'm with you. I get it. Sometimes you have a little bit of a longer runway. Um, and like I said, look, I started this journey in 2017. I didn't get here till 2023. But I had to be focused in my resolve. I set goals for myself every year. And it was a lonely road. Because, like I say in the group all the time, for many of us, we're the first in our families, the first in our peer set. And so you have to be able to fortify yourself. And that's why community is so important. That's why this space also, too, is an extension of that. It's so important because you need that to help you get through this. Bunch of alpha in the house. Hey, y'all. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. I think I did it. What do you think? Anything else? Did I miss anything? Last chance. I think leaving on your own terms and taking your dollars with you and living your best Black life for whatever time you have left on this earth is the ultimate reparations. All right, y'all. I think I did it. I think we did it. So I will see you next week. Probably. Probably from Italy. I can't remember where I'm supposed to be. I don't remember if I'm going to be in Rome or if I'm going to be in Florence. But I know I'm going to be in Italy. So I think I'll do a live. I don't think I'll do a video, like a recorded video. I think I'll go live. So I'll do that. It'll be a lighter one. It'll be a lighter conversation. Let me know in the comments. Definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel, pass this along to a friend, even though it's a heavy one tonight. And let me know in the chat, in the comments after the live, what you want to talk about next week. I have some thoughts, but we'll see. But in the meantime, thanks for rocking with me. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely know, like I said, the topic was a heavy one, but I feel like some people needed reminders that this is not a dress rehearsal, right? Life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the main act. You are the main act. Your life. You have main character energy. And what I want for you and what you should want for yourself is to live a life on your own terms, to be free as you can be, to be unapologetic and unbothered. So, till next week, I'll see y'all. Be well, be safe.